Have you ever read a book that was so relatable and personal, and you sat with it for a while, quiet, reflective, maybe a little overwhelmed that you cried? And when you finally found the courage to put it down, you felt like you wanted to find the female main character, I know she's fictional, and wrap her in a long, warm hug. Yeah. That book for me is My Name is Maame by Jessica Judge. Hey beautiful people, my name is Victoria and I'm a big believer that late bloomers still bloom, and they bloom beautifully. Welcome to my book review series, and this is the first of it. Let's begin. My Name is Maame by Jessica Judge follows the story of a young lady named Maddie Wright. She has just finished university, and instead of discovering herself, pursuing her career, building relationships, or maybe finding a hobby that she loves and investing into herself, she is stuck caring for her sick father who suffers from Parkinson's disease. The story is set in London, a multicultural, ethnically diverse city. It is very important to note that Maddie's both parents are Ghanaian, so she's ethnically Ghanaian, but she's born and raised in England, specifically London, so she's culturally British because that's all she has known. Maddie's mother lives in Ghana, sometimes for as long as a year, occasionally visiting England when she wants to. As the story unravels, we'll get to discover that she has a sneaky link, a boyfriend you would call it, while still being legally married to Maddie's father. The story portrays her as the stereotypical African, strict religious mother who holds her own daughter to a standard of morals that she cannot attain. Now she polices Maddie to make sure Maddie goes to church, and she wants Maddie to be a paragon of morals, good work, virtues, whatever you would call it, while herself lives with a boyfriend. On the other hand, she is so carefree and unbothered about her son. Maddie is made to be the emotional and financial backbone of the family while not getting acknowledged for it. I'm sorry if I triggered you, if you can relate to that. One of the central themes of the story is black tax, a concept a lot of us can relate to. It's the financial pressure to give back to family when you're barely staying afloat yourself. Maddie does a job that pays a little above minimum wage, but her mother financially milks her, though she's running a business in Ghana that she claims is successful, and sometimes uses Bible passages to support this exploitation. I think one of my favorite things about this story is that it's told in first person present tense from Maddie's viewpoint. It feels like you can read Maddie's thoughts because she's constantly googling symptoms. She's trying to find out, am I the problem? She is so relatable, she is so real, and she's so mean. This story takes a huge turn when Maddie's mother comes back to England. Now, Maddie's a smart babe who is just burdened with the guilt of caregiving and does not know how to prioritize herself. But once her mother comes back to London, she takes the first glimpse of opportunity she gets to move out of the house, apply for the job she's always wanted, set her own routine, and do the things she's always wanted to do. Now, I'm going to give a spoiler alert. If you've not read the book, I think you want to stop here and go back to the book, or you would tighten your seatbelt and know that I'm about to give a spoiler. Years of silence, neglect, lack of affection catches up with her, and she falls into depression. And if it stopped there, it would be so nice. A bigger tragedy hits. Maddie's father dies. She felt like her father had died because she left the house. So the guilt, the grief, and everything in between makes her spiral downward into a deeper, darker hole of depression. You would want to think that Maddie would get a clean healing arc or something dramatic would happen. But then this story is so realistic that healing is sometimes very messy and it takes different turns. I do not explore the story about Maddie's love life because I want you to read the book. I want you to get the thrill of a good read without me spoiling every single part of it. Jessica Wright is such a good writer because she portrays Maddie as a realistic person that is so relatable. At some point in this story, I must confess, I felt like Maddie. With therapy, self-reflection, accountability, and a desire to be better, Maddie begins to heal, rediscover herself. The expectation to support your family even when you're struggling. How many of us can relate with that? Another central theme to this story is the expectation of caregiving placed on first African daughters. Why do we always have to be the ones? I mean, I am not against caring for family. I love my family. I would care for them at every opportunity I get. But when it is expected that you do that without any reward, without any praise, without any commendation, and you should just carry on because that's your job anyway, that's when it becomes unfair. Another central theme I would like to talk about is identity. How does it feel like to grow up and be Ghanaian British? Now I'm an immigrant, so identity is not a big thing for me because I came here when I was already 25. I had discovered myself. I knew who I was from a young age and I was already walking my path before I came here. But I sometimes wonder, how does it feel to find your identity in a world that is not designed for you? The theme is mental health. Emotion you feel like the whole world is against you, like you are alone, like you are isolated. Seasonal depression, something nobody wants to talk about. I think Jessica Judge is brave in her portrayal of the African first daughter story. Like, she's so realistic, she's so relatable. Maame reminds me that blooming late does not mean that you are blooming less. It doesn't matter if you discover yourself at 25 or 30. I mean, it would be lovely to discover yourself early and walk your path. But if you happen to do it later in life, you can still own your story, bloom beautifully, and own your space in this world. Because if you read the story, I would like to know what resonated with you. If you've not read it, I would like to know, would you like to read it? And if you watched up to this path, thank you so much for watching. This is a reminder that late bloomers still bloom, and they bloom beautifully.